Well, we got our first look at Batman the Caped Crusader, and it is pretty stunning. Along with that, we got a full breakdown of the upcoming series, which does reveal some interesting details, as well as a little bit of a dive into each of the characters previewed in the recent pictures. So, let's take a couple minutes to talk about the series, what Matt Reeves, J.J. Abrams, and Bruce Timm have coming our way, and the full character breakdowns. Now before we do that though, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos, and we want to be your place for all the superhero news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently so you are in the know. Well, we recently got our first look at Batman Caped Crusader, and for most fans, these images were pretty great. We note this new show is coming from the mind of Matt Reeves, J.J. Abrams, and Bruce Timm, and we are definitely getting a 1940s noir and what's being referred to as a full reimagining of the Batman mythology. Now, the other day we got our first look at some of these pictures, but now we have an official description as well as a breakdown of each character, so I thought we could take a couple minutes to check them out. Now, the official description is pretty straightforward, and it reads, "Welcome to Gotham City, where the corrupt outnumber the good, criminals run rampant, and law-abiding citizens live in a constant state of fear. Forged in the fire of tragedy, wealthy socialite Bruce Wayne becomes something more and less than human, the Batman. His one-man crusade for justice attracts unexpected allies within the GCPD and City Hall, but his heroic actions spawn deadly, unforeseen ramifications." Well, the description definitely frames up this version of Gotham City, and it appears for right now, Batman is going to be a one-man crime-fighting machine, and we're not likely to see Robin. I am curious on who his allies in City Hall are going to be, but it's pretty clear at the GCPD, that is going to be James Gordon. Now, with this general description of the show, we also got some breakdowns of each character, and I thought we could rotate through each one that was revealed the other day. So, let's just start with Batman. Now, we got a description for both Batman and Bruce Wayne, and the one for Batman sounds pretty menacing. It reads, "A cold, remorseless avenger of evil, seemingly more machine than man. Forged in the fire of tragedy, every fiber of his being is dedicated to the eradication of crime." Quite honestly, the whole description kind of makes him sound like the Terminator. Now, as for Bruce Wayne, it reads, "To the public at large, Bruce Wayne is a shallow dilettante, apparently wasting his parents' vast fortune on frivolous pursuits and hedonistic pleasures. In fact, he's an elaborate facade, carefully constructed to divert attention from his activities as Batman." Which, quite honestly, sounds like a classic Bruce Wayne. Now, we also got a look into Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, and this version definitely seems to be taking some inspiration from classic Batman comics. It reads, "Selina Kyle is a blithe and pampered heiress whose family lost their fortune after her father was imprisoned for embezzlement. Despite having the silver spoon yanked from her mouth, Selina refuses to quit, living in the lap of luxury, and becomes Catwoman as a fun way to maintain her lavish lifestyle." So it sounds like this version of Catwoman is not teetering between good and evil, or even a little bit, well, conflicted. She's definitely out for herself. Next up is Clayface, and this definitely reads like the classic version of the character from the early days of Batman. It says, "Thanks to his unique facial features, screen actor Basil Karlo has been forever typecast as a B-movie heavy. Frustrated by the limitations his appearance put on both his career and personal life, Karlo turned to an experimental serum that promised to change his face. However, not only does this serum ultimately disfigure his face, but it ruptures the last of his sanity, creating the tragic, vengeful-seeking villain, Clayface." Honestly, this sounds pretty exciting to me, and I like this completely different take, and I find it very interesting they're going back to this version of the character. Now, one of the biggest changes we have seen, though, has been Dr. Harley Quinzel, aka Harley Quinn, and her description definitely gives us some insight on how different she's going to be in the show. It reads, "Despite a personable and bubbly demeanor, Dr. Harleen Quinzel is a brilliant psychiatrist who treats some of Gotham's elite. However, as Harley Quinn, she's a different person entirely, a creepy, quiet, calculating menace who secretly dispenses her twisted justice to the truly despicable among her elite clientele." Now, I was pretty unsure how changing Harley would work, but I do like this almost Dexter-like approach to the character, and she's clearly going to be leaning pretty hard on some of Gotham's elite, and this will probably what draw her into the crosshairs of Batman. Now, finally, we have Commissioner Gordon, and it seems like to me they've nailed this version of the character pretty well. It reads, former beat cop close to retirement, Gordon was hired to play along with the corrupt system and run out the clock until he can draw a pension. But they've sorely underestimated Jim Gordon. His unassailable character brings him into conflict with dirty cops and crooked politicians alike. Not to mention, he has to reckon with a deranged vigilante beating up Gotham's criminals. Now, all these takes on these characters are a bit divergent from what we've known in the comics and what we've seen in a recent past, but all in all, I pretty much like what I'm seeing. Quite honestly, specifically Batman and Harley Quinn, I like the direction they're going, and I love that they're embracing this old version of Clayface. I know a lot of people get really concerned anytime there's some changes to these characters, and it seems like this has been pretty well thought out by Matt Reeves and the rest of the crew. I definitely sense Matt Reeves' version of the Batman kind of making its way into this world, and I like the dark influences. Now, we're obviously following this show pretty close, and I want you guys to make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to get all the Batman and Caped Crusader updates. I think this show is going to be something special, something dark, and something to remember for Batman fans. But we're going to have to wait and see.